So here is the brand new Yves Saint Laurent Libre Vanille Couture. And this is a brand new fragrance, just came out. It was just launched. And of course, I got my hands on a bottle. And this one, I have to tell you, is a very interesting addition to the lineup. Of course, with this particular fragrance, and I'm sure you're familiar with the original. I own every single fragrance that this brand has put out, except for one, I think. It was like housed in a bottle with a completely different color, but I have the original, I have the Intense, I have the Flowers and Flames, I have the Le Parfum version. I purchased many of them from Macy's. And of course, looking at the note breakdown for this particular fragrance, there is a bit of an overlap. And so you are going to get that orange blossom, which is the motif that kind of bridges this one with its predecessor. And in addition to, the orange blossom, you also have a few other notes in there, including bourbon vanilla, you have vanilla caviar, you have lavender, you have rum. And when I started to look at those note breakdowns, or that note breakdown, or those notes, I should say, I was immediately reminded of another fragrance. And whenever you mention vanilla, vanilla caviar, rum, and lavender, it's like, well, wait a minute. Are we thinking of the same thing here? And sure enough, the fragrance to which this is compared, or this has gotten compared, is Burberry Goddess. And it's a very, very, very similar note breakdown. And so my guess is that this was intentional. However, I think this has that Libre DNA in here with the orange blossom. And the orange blossom is really what set this apart from many other fragrances on the market. Now, here's the thing. Orange blossom as an ingredient has been done before, right? There's so many beautiful orange blossom or orange flower based fragrances on the market. And so this is not novelty in the sense that, you know, it utilizes an ingredient that's never been used before. No, that's certainly not true. I mean, it's a very common ingredient, but the fact that they paired it with the lavender and that booziness honestly makes this, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is the sexiest fragrance in the entire lineup. Now, the most laid back was Flowers and Flames. That to me had like a coconut personality, and you smell it, and it definitely had a bit of like this coconut / fig vibe happening in there. At least that's what I got from it. Not certain about the note breakdown, but I'm just letting you know what I smelled from it. And then it's interesting because the Le Parfum was the densest one. It was strong, it was bold, it was charismatic. But the one thing that I always equated with the smell of the Libre perfumes is that they all come across smelling rather professional, very executive. For the female CEO, definitely gives boss energy. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And then here we have one that is just undeniably sexy. And so this is like, if you're wearing Libre in the daytime, or you're wearing Libre Le Parfum for that very important presentation, you're in the boardroom, or, you know, perhaps you're in the, you're trying to make a very noticeable impression. I think the Le Parfum flanker will really do that. But if you're that same confident woman with money in her bank who is just very, self-assured, but now you're down to have a good time and you want to channel that inner sexiness, Vanille Couture is the fragrance for you. And I think this perfume is going to be an undeniable showstopper. We've seen the success of fragrances like Irfa by Al Absar, Angam by Latafa, Burberry Goddess and its associated flankers. Whenever that lavender, vanilla, and booze combination has been utilized by perfumes, it just comes across smelling so sultry, so seductive, so sexy. And that is the effect that this one is going to have as well. Interestingly enough, I have acquired many fragrances that were released over the past few months. Recently, I picked up Miss Dior Essence by Christian Dior, and that fragrance is very professional, also very elegant. And then I also picked up Chanel Chance Eau Splendide, and that one is very playful, very youthful with that raspberry note in there. And there's even Eternity Amber Essence by Calvin Klein. That one can be a bit mysterious, as a matter of fact. This one is just sexy, unbridled sexiness. It's sexy, it's confident, it's outgoing. This is for the woman who gets all dressed up and you see pictures of her on socials and you're like, is that the same woman? Oh my God. Like, I'm so used to seeing her in like a business suit, or I'm so used to seeing her like very dressed up, and now she's like very va-va-voom, like she transformed her entire aura. Like, oh my God, like what is that woman's name from Roger Rabbit? I forget the woman, in the red dress, the red lipstick, that I don't know why that came to mind immediately, but the woman from Roger Rabbit, whatever her name is, I don't know why it's not coming to me. I'm so sorry. But that's the vibe that I get from this fragrance. It's like, you're so used to seeing me very clean, very put together. And now with the vanilla and the rum and, the booziness, the sensuality, this is just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Now, the only way in which I'm feeling a bit conflicted is I'm trying to gather, is this going to be more of a compliment getter than the original? And I'm not entirely sure about that. I think you're going to get tons of compliments with both. And so if compliments are the name of the game, you can achieve that, I think, with the original Libre. I think that one with the orange blossom, it's very diffusive, it's beautifully done, or even the sustenance of the amber in the Le Parfum version, that one is also done incredibly well. I think that, the diffusiveness of the original is really going to get you noticed, which I think is going to be conducive to you receiving compliments. And then I think with this one specifically, the sweetness is just going to be an aphrodisiac, right? Like the vanilla historically is known as an aphrodisiac. And so I would imagine that whoever wears this one is also going to have incredible success in terms of, positive attention and, being a showstopper and, getting people to stop you as you're walking down the street, or, if you're in the office and you happen to get close to somebody, like I can imagine them turning to you and saying like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but what do you have on today? It's one of those fragrances. I think a lot of perfumes out there can be quite soft and subtle, and they fly under the radar to the point where people smell it on you and they're like, I don't know if you're wearing a perfume or if that's your body wash or if you just naturally smell good or if it's a special shampoo you're using or, maybe the dryer sheets on your clothing. Like, there are certain smells that are like, yeah, it smells good, but I wouldn't think that's your perfume. No, this is like a very iconic perfume. And you wear this, you're going to get noticed immediately. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. So let's get into the specifics of it, right? It opens up with that beautiful orange blossom. Again, not as diffusive as some of its predecessors, but then you're met with that beautifully done sultry vanilla. And again, it's not a gourmand. It's not a vanilla that's going to put you in the mindset of some more juvenile compositions on the market, because vanilla can do that, certainly. That's not what you're getting here. I think this is a very beautifully done, vanilla, how should I put this? Vanilla orange blossom combination that, straddles the balance between being bright, citrusy, floral, and effervescent, while also having this spicy, boozy sweetness that I think is just beautifully, beautifully, beautifully done. Listen, I love this fragrance. I truly do. This is the brand new Libre Vanille Couture. Longevity on this fragrance is 8 hours on my skin. Projection is a little beyond an arm's length for the first hour of application. It can be compared to the previous flankers within the line. And like I said, I own all of them but one, I think. And I think this one is definitely the sexiest of the entire collection. So again, make sure to get what you think is going to match your personality and what your goals are. If you're looking for something professional, you're going to get the original. If you're looking for something bold and charismatic, you're going to get the Le Parfum. If you're looking for something that is a bit more laid back and relaxed, you're going to get Flowers and Flames. And then if you're just looking for something like sexy and provocative, you're going to get Vanille Couture. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I really hope you took something of value from today's episode. And once again, if you did, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, and also giving this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. It would truly mean a lot to me. So thank you again for watching. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new episode.